Vince McMahon is reportedly building a roster, but what game is the evil genius intending to play? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. A lot of speculation on what McMahon is going to do next, especially after he put the whole Janelle Grant case to bed. That is done. Looks like McMahon is now going to move on. Unfortunately for him, his future will not be in the WWE, and according to Eric Bischoff, he believes that McMahon will never ever be in WWE again, which I think is very sad considering he is the man, literally he is the man, McMahon, but he created everything. All the success is because of him, and I think if McMahon is never seen in WWE again, or if he does not get into the Hall of Fame or get some sort of memorial or mention or something like that, to me, that would be an absolute disgrace. That McMahon is wrestling, and the fact that he's almost been blacklisted from WWE, I think is insane. But here, that's Eric Bischoff's opinion. Maybe that's not true. Maybe McMahon one day could reappear in WWE. But what's he going to do in the meantime? Because he's no longer the owner of WWE. He doesn't own any more stocks in WWE. He is completely free of World Wrestling Entertainment. So what could he be doing next? Well, Jim Ross was discussing it on his podcast, Grilling JR. He was speaking with co-host Conrad Thompson, and he asked Thompson, he said, quote, "Did you hear anything about Vince? You and I talked about this once before, that maybe in 2025 he's going to make some sort of return to his chosen profession. Or is he? Or does he need it? He doesn't need it financially, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a never-ending story, Conrad." End of quote. To which Conrad Thompson replied, quote, "He's bought a studio. He's building a roster. We'll see." End of quote. So Conrad Thompson, he is one of a few people saying that McMahon has bought a studio. It looks like that is true. He's claimed that he is building a roster and that he believes McMahon is planning to come back in some form of capacity. So what could that capacity be? We don't know. But Eric Bischoff also spoke about it. Now, when asked if he believed McMahon would ever return to WWE at some point in the future, Bischoff replied, quote, "No, absolutely not. It will never happen." End of quote. And to me, that's pretty sad. The whole allegation fit, they're done now. I'm not sure why Bischoff is so adamant that McMahon will never return to WWE. Now, I'm not talking return in some sort of owner or power, position. I'm talking about McMahon maybe in a type of Legends deal, or just appreciating and acknowledging that he is the man behind WWE. I mean, can we at least see McMahon be used when it comes to like promo packages or like WrestleMania? Welcome to WrestleMania. Can we get McMahon some appreciation? You're looking at the Netflix show and they're showing you everyone that brought wrestling to where it is today, apart from the one man that really matters, the one guy that truly put wrestling and WWE on the map, and of course that is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. But Bischoff also went on to speak about what he believes is next on the cards for McMahon, and he said, quote, "I have got a little bit of inside information that I believe to be credible. Vince has purchased, according to this source, who is in the entertainment business, property in Santa Monica, California, one of the more expensive commercial areas in California. He has purchased some production facilities. He has hired a couple of people. One of them is Christian Prouty, who was formerly associated with WWE. She was based in Los Angeles and handled a lot of PR work. She has had access to celebrities, and whenever WWE needed someone from Hollywood for a program and didn't have a direct connection, Christian was the one to make it happen and negotiate deals." One of Vince's projects is his perspective on the Monday Night Wars. According to what I've heard, he's got a version that nobody else has ever heard before, which I find fascinating. There were things about that era that haven't been discussed. I don't want to shit on it, but man, you're talking about a subject that's been done to death. But that's one thing. End of quote. So Bischoff believes that he has hired former WWE associate Christian Pouty. He believes that McMahon is going to come back in some form of entertainment business, and that one of McMahon's projects is his own perspective on the Monday Night Wars. Now, let's talk about that for a little minute. The Monday Night Wars, McMahon's own perspective. Let's say McMahon is going to do a documentary. Let's say he wants to produce something, a series or whatever. Okay, series, documentary, whatever on the Monday Night Wars. As far as I'm aware, unless there's been some crazy deal signed, McMahon will have zero footage. McMahon is not, he's got no right to any of WWE/WCW footage, unless he signs some crazy secret deal where he will always have access to that. He doesn't. He can't use any of that. McMahon can talk about the Monday Night Wars, of course, but in terms of footage, he can show absolutely nothing, which is crazy. That is crazy. McMahon, the guy that owned it, the guy that started the Monday Night Wars, the guy that fucking won the Monday Night Wars, Mr. WrestleMania himself, Mr. McMahon, he can talk about Monday Night Wars, he can talk about WWE, but he can't show nothing. He has got zero, absolutely zero footage that he can show regarding that, and it's just going to be very limited. If he does decide to do anything wrestling related, and if he's trying to do a documentary or anything on the history of WWE, he can't do nothing. And I think that's sad. I think that is extremely sad. McMahon, if he wants to do a documentary, he should be allowed to use whatever he fucking wants. And, I mean, even his own image, he can't, I'm sure, can he use that? Probably not. I don't think so. Unless he signed some deal, which I don't even think would be possible. So, let's say McMahon does do something like that. It's literally just going to be a documentary with him talking. There's going to be no footage from WWF or WCW. We're not going to see Hogan with a leg drop. We're not going to see Austin driving trucks down to the ring or drinking beers. We're not going to see any of that because McMahon is not. He's not entitled to use it. He doesn't own it anymore. He would get sued. So yeah, McMahon very limited in what he can do. Now there is potential that he could maybe start a wrestling company. And look, as much as I would love to see it, WWE is like the NFL. Okay, the NFL's American football. You say American football, everyone just thinks NFL. Yeah, you've got the XFL. Yeah, you've got some other like minor promotions, but they're not relevant. The NFL is pretty much the only American football that matters. And pretty much the same can be said for WWE. Look, does McMahon have money? Yes. Could he start up a company and quickly easily become the number 3 in America? Yes. Could he probably overtake AEW? I mean, potentially. But in terms of overcoming WWE, it's just never going to happen. And we know McMahon isn't the kind of guy that's going to settle for second place. But McMahon is 79 years old. He's not got the time. The time it would take. I'm not saying McMahon couldn't start a company and beat WWE in the ratings. He could do that. That could happen. But in order to become the number 1, in order to take over WWE in terms of finances and just like global like reach and like fan subscription basis, I mean that's never going to happen. WWE is always going to be number 1 unless they go bust, unless they go out of business. I mean, look at the history they've got. They've got a head start. They're like decades and decades and decades ahead of everybody else. It's like if you're in a race with WWE, I mean, you're starting like 100 miles back, and they're starting 5 meters away from the finish line. So McMahon could start a new wrestling company, and here, it'd be interesting to see, but he's never going to have a company that becomes number one in the world. He's never going to have the wrestling company. He's never going to have the number one wrestling company, because that's always going to be WWE. And if McMahon was 25 years old, maybe I would view that differently. But at 79, long term, I just don't see how this happens. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. As for McMahon here, I'll take anything. Whether it's he goes into movies, TV series, documentaries, he starts up a wrestling company, he goes into other sports, I don't know. But if McMahon's in it, it'll give me some interest and I'll give it a follow. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.